Hello, hello. What is up, duelists? Welcome to the stream today. How's everybody doing? I'm tired today, but it's actually not because of the Duel Links qualifier weekend. I feel like I actually had a very reasonable amount of sleep over the weekend. It wasn't actually that stressful, but it's just because Charlie keeps waking me up at night at the moment because he doesn't have a cat door yet. So he can't go outside on his own because of course we just moved in and we haven't really managed to put that up yet, which means he woke me up at like 3, woke me up at 5, woke me up at 7, woke me up at 8. Dude, it's been dude, it's been like that the last 2 nights as well, and even over the course of the weekend. So yeah, classic cat. Yeah. Did he wake you up at 6 and 7? I think he may have skipped on that on purpose because he didn't want to, he didn't want me to have to say that. Yeah, anyways, welcome to the stream. It's going to be a little bit shorter one than usual because we are starting a little bit late, but it's fine. We need to lock in for the Master Duel Worlds qualifier, and that's what we are going to do today. We are going to start testing or grinding rather in rated duels. I have already taken some time over the last, well, mainly yesterday. I was playing a little bit off stream to finish. I finished the climb to Master 1, and I also finished the entirety of Stage 1 for the Duelist Cup yesterday. So I don't have to worry about making it to Stage 2 until Friday, and we can just grind rated duels because that's what I want to do, is play rated duels because I think that's where you get the best games probably. So I played all the way up to there yesterday, and we can just grind a little bit today. We are at exactly 1500, and that's what we're gonna do. So we're skipping the warm-up today because we are starting late already, and we only have I have about 4 hours until I have to go. But we do have something to take a look at quickly before we start playing. But yeah, that's the plan for today. Sag, no ENIAC Craft Stage 1. Dude, I think ENIAC Craft is actually like at its best in Master Duel out of all the formats probably. Because it's a pretty interesting best of 1 deck. I think there's a lot of people messing around with it and actually realizing, it's not as bad as people make it out to be, because people in the TCG are just refusing to read those cards. But it's actually not a bad deck. And of course, yes, Dimensional Fissure does help a lot with how good it can be. But yeah. Slayer, thank you for the 34 months. Appreciate you. And also Louis Lanzi, thank you for the Prime. Welcome back. Hymera, thank you for the gift sub earlier. And Shy Ghost, welcome back. Thank you for the 5 months. Appreciate you all. No Chaos Origin set review. We will return to TCG content after the Master Duel qualifier, like next week. We're gonna, like, after the weekend of Master Duel, I'm probably gonna take a few days off because I'm gonna be tired, and I'm also gonna be gone for a few days. But then we'll return to streaming, and then we'll go back to, TCG content as usual. But yeah. Which decks are you thinking on? Cool Tune, Draco Tail, Branded. I am going to, after I need a little bit of preparation time for that, but on tomorrow's stream, I wanted to make a tier list / meta discussion for the current format in Master Duel. I haven't really made my mind up yet which deck I want to play, because I do think there's a lot of good options right now in Master Duel. I do think, realistically, I could see myself playing Branded. I could see myself playing Branded Draco Tail. I can obviously see myself playing Sky Striker. I could see myself playing Radiant Typhoon. I think that deck's actually not bad either. Whether that's with or without the Zodiac cards, probably without, but it's an option. And Cool Tune is also a really good deck. So I think there's a lot of options in Master Duel right now, and that's just the decks that I could see myself playing, because there's more that other people could play, I think. But yeah. Event Rule, thank you for the 19 months, and Voldemort, thank you for the 49. All right, everyone, settle in. Our warm-up today is this. We are looking at the Ultimate Tournament Pack 1 contents for the TCG. This is going to be replacing our OTS pack. And if I remember correctly, they have doubled the number of Ultimate Rares in this. And they also have... they've doubled the number of Ultimates, and they've doubled the pull rates as well for this. So, yeah. These are unofficial leaks. Oh, my bad. I guess we're not supposed to look at that then. I didn't know that. Unfortunate. Well, that's our warm-up then. Okay. Don't go exclamation mark Konami, dude. I didn't know they were leaks. That's annoying. Okay, well. Delete the VOD? No, it's not that bad. Did Josh already discuss Adamancipators? Oh, that's a good point, actually. That is a good point. We can take a look at that, because I did forget. You know, here's the thing. I saw that they made Adamancipator support over the course of the last couple of days when I wasn't streaming. And then I forgot about it, which is probably my brain telling me, like, you don't want this to happen. But yes, a lot of people in the comments reminded me, like, hey, you forgot to talk about the Adamancipator cards. So yeah, you're right. I'm late to the party on this one because they were revealed 7 days ago at this point, so an entire week. But yes, there was actually Adamancipator support announced for Beyond the Brave, which, well, I didn't ask for, but I'm sure some people did. And I guess as long as Block Dragon is banned, maybe it's fine. I don't know. I've never really vibed with the playstyle of Adamancipator, but you know, it's something that some people, it's just like the combo nature and the gambling nature. I don't know. All right, let's see. I actually haven't read these yet because I was like, when I saw them for the first time, I was like, yeah, okay, let's save that for stream. And then I forgot about it. But yeah, okay. Adamancipator Conductor. We have Rock Tuner level 6. You can only use the first and second effect once per turn each. If this card is in your hand, you can place one other Adamancipator card from your hand on the top of the deck. Special summon this card. Okay, well, that guarantees you're gonna hit with the excavation thing of the Adamancipator cards, I guess, but it still is a 2-card combo at best. During your main phase, you can excavate the top 5 cards of your deck, and if you do, you can special summon one excavated level 4 or lower rock monster. Also place the rest on the bottom of the deck in any order. I mean, that's a fancy way of saying special summon 2 Adamancipators from your hand, right? At the very minimum. Because, like, you're going to put one Adamancipator on top of your deck that you are guaranteed to hit. But then if you get, like, I guess you can see the other 4 cards as well. And if there's a better option, then you can pick that one, right? Like, for example, let's say you put an Adamancipator Researcher on top of the deck. But then in the top 5 cards of your deck, you find a Koakimeru Guardian. And you're like, I think that's better. So I'm going to do that one, right? So, yeah. It puts the bricks that were the stones back. Did they even... dude, it's been so long, and I didn't play super actively during the Adamancipator, like, COVID era. Did they even play the stones? I feel like sometimes, right? OG Haggy, thank you for the 20 months. Blue was sometimes one of... Is blue the one where, like, if you summon it with an Adamancipator, you draw a card? I like that. Okay, this card to me, it feels fine. Right? It feels fine. It's a starter / extender in 2-card combos for Adamancipator, which seems okay. It doesn't specify tuner or non-tuner on the excavate, so you have a much higher chance of hitting depending on how your deck is built. So, yeah, okay. But it doesn't like scream completely broken at me, which is why I'm fine with it. It is a tuner itself. Oh, there's a new crystal. Adamancipator Crystal Tiamite. Level 4 Dark Rock, 0 attack, 2200 defense. You can only use the first and second effect once per turn each. If this card is special summoned by an Adamancipator card effect, you can add an Adamancipator card from your deck to your hand. Ooh, okay. Except Crystal Tiamite, then you can special a rock from your hand. I mean, if you do hit it with any of your Adamancipators that can summon it, that goes pretty hard. If this card's in your grave, target a rock synchro on your field or grave, return it to the extra deck. If you do, place this card on top of the deck. Okay. Well, give me a second. Sorry, doorbell. Okay, this card seems fine, but nothing too crazy, in my opinion, because it's not a starter. It's a good hit off the Adamancipators. I'm not sure if that's something you would want to play. I guess it combos well. Like, it's less bricky if this card is in the mix, right? Okay. Adamancipator Risen Tiamite. So that's the corresponding synchro. Level 10 Dark Rock, 1 tuner and non-tuners. You can use the first and second effect once per turn each. If you have a dark monster in your grave, add an Adamancipator spell trap from your deck to your hand. What do they have in terms of Adamancipator spell traps? It was like, they have Adamancipator Friends, which was sometimes played, I think. They have a counter trap. Oh, awesome. Nice. When your opponent activates a monster effect on the field, quick effect, you can excavate the top 5 cards of your deck, and if you do, you can return cards your opponent controls to the hand up to the number of rock monsters excavated. Also, place the excavated cards on the bottom of the deck in the order. That is a potentially really cool effect. Whether you're going first or second. Like, this is an interesting interruption, but it's also a very, very potent effect when you're going second. Like, when you get to make this card into a board, it's really scary for your opponent to do something, because you might just non-target bounce like multiple cards on their board. Which is cool. This is the type, like, I said earlier, I'm not the biggest fan of Adamancipators, but I think cards like these are like are pretty cool. That's a interactive like endboard piece. Of course, there's some gamba involved. You know, it's not like there's a lot of variance in this effect. You know, sometimes there is a you're gonna hit like 1, or sometimes you're gonna hit 4, and it's gonna be very high variance, which is sometimes gonna feel bad. But overall, I think this is much cooler than just like this deck summoning Baron the Fleur, for example, right? And I wish they leaned into this direction more from the beginning for Adamancipators, because I think Adamancipator, like, as a concept, I'm not opposed to Adamancipator like being a little bit gambly. I think the biggest issue with Adamancipator was that it was always ending on the most broken generic cards. Like the Adamancipator end board had like 0 Adamancipator cards, right? It was just well, here's Chimera Guardian, here's Appaloosa, here's Savage, here's Baron, whatever, right? So the fact that it was like so splashable, not splashable, but like so compatible with all of the generic endboard pieces, and the fact that all those generic endboard pieces existed alongside Block Dragon as well, made the deck a problem. The archetype itself is like fine, you know, it's just like goofy extenders that have a little gamba attached to it. It's fine. So if they lean more into a direction where Adamancipator on its own is playable, I'd be down with that. That's okay. Which I mean is different in the OCG, because I do think the OCG, they still have. Do they have Baron in the OCG? I think so. Yeah, they have Baron, of course. So in the OCG, it's still gonna make Baron. Like, Baron is still a better card than this 99% of the time. So, you know, printing, like, you're only gonna make this if you already have Baron access. So in the OCG, I would look at these cards through a different lens. But for us in the TCG, where we don't have Baron, we don't have Block Dragon, but we don't have Savage. It's like, okay, yeah, giving Adamancipator their own boss monster that's worth ending on, that's cool. All right. Adamancipator Luminous, a Link monster. I think that's new. I don't think they had any so far. Link 2 Light Rock needs 2 effect monsters, including a Synchro monster. Okay. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. If this card's Link summoned or a monster is special summoned to a zone this card points to, you can target one monster in your field or graveyard that has a level. Special summon a Glimmer token with the same level. That's just Link climbing, right? We just summon it as a Link 2 and get a token, so we now have Link rating 3. When another monster on the field activates its effect, quick effect, you can place it to the top of the deck. Ooh, that's a neat interaction though. Yeah, okay. I'm not sure exactly what the token effect is supposed to be here for. I guess it's so that you invest 2 bodies for a card that's clearly meant to be an endboard piece, but you don't lose those resources entirely for your combos because you do get a token back. So yeah, that's the thing. It is technically capable of Link climbing, right? It is technically capable of Link climbing with the token, but it does have this thing where you kind of do want to keep it around. I want to point out that this is not limited at all to Adamancipators, right? Like, this is something that you can play in any deck with synchros. And it's not bad. Like, in any deck with synchros, you have the option to Link climb into a Link 3 now with 2 bodies, if one of them is a synchro. And this is also a relatively decent generic effect, right? Like, you go second, yeah, Yummy, for example, right? You go second, you make a Yummy synchro, you special another Yummy, and then you make this into a board. You even get a level 1 body back, right? You target a Yummy in your grave, and then you get a level 1 token that you can then turn into Linkaribo, so you can keep special summoning the Yummies. And then you get this for relatively cheap. You get this effect, right? Okay. Interesting. OCG Yummy be summoning this using Arclight all day. Yeah. Adamancipator Mate. Normal spell card. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. Add an Adamancipator. Okay, well, there's a good target. Add an Adamancipator from deck to hand. If this card's in your grave, you can place 1 card from your hand on top of the deck. Add this card to your hand. Oh, and you can use both effects. Okay. I mean, the thing is, like, if you use it first to get it to the graveyard and then you add it back to your hand, it is going to be a dead card in your hand for the rest of the turn. It's going to be follow-up, though. You can also do it the other way around, though. You can, like, discard it for an effect, or you can send it for Foolish Burial Goods, and then put a card on top of your deck to guarantee that you hit it, and then later on use the Rhoda effect or something like that. It's definitely a good card. It's Rhoda with upside, 100%. Easily a good card. It sets up the Gamba. Yeah, it makes it so some of these effects, and I think that's cool, make it so that you can guarantee certain hits. You're not always just gambling with, like, putting a certain card on top of the deck with this, putting a certain card on top of the deck with this. I think that's neat. Overall, I gotta say, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think these cards are cool. Even though, like I said earlier, in the past, I've not been a big Adamancipator fan. This new wave of support, I feel like maybe as long as people play Adamancipator, like, as an Adamancipator deck, I'm fine with it. I think as long as it doesn't turn into, like, oh, I'm gonna end on Appaloosa, Baron, Savage, IP Masquerena, Block Dragon, and Corkimir Guardian, which has 0 Adamancipator cards. I think that's pretty cringe. But I think if they end on Adamancipator Arisen Tiamat, Adamancipator Luminous, and then maybe like one, like an IP Masquerena or something, like, I'd be okay with that, you know. I think that's something they should try to do more. I think generic endboard pieces in general are something they need to be careful with. They also have drag guide. Yeah, they do have drag guide. So maybe it's enough, actually. Maybe it is enough. But like the thing is with rocks, there still is a lot of stuff you can do. This is still going to have access, very easy access to Qualifier Guardian, which is going to make it better into hand traps and also add endboard pieces like monster negates and stuff like that. So we'll have to wait and see. There still is a lot of combo potential with these cards. Nothing here has any lock. None of the older cards had locks either. So it still is potentially problematic. But the cards themselves, I have no issue with. Or actually, I think they're kind of cool, rather. I'm a little worried about the generic uses of Adamancipator Luminous, maybe. If there's just like decks that just spam some synchros and then use this to link climb or something like that. But, I mean, a link 2 that summons 1 token is hardly problematic, I think. But it is useful for certain combos, potentially. Adamancipator Magnet Warriors for infinite rock bodies? Maybe, yeah, but that's... here's the thing. Like, from the TCG perspective, right? An Adamancipator Magnet Warrior deck doesn't seem more problematic than a lot of the other combo decks that we have, right? Because what does that deck end on? You have, like, some of the Magnet Warrior interruptions, you have some of the Adamancipator interruptions, and you have like maybe a Qualifier Guardian or two that you can hit with your effects. They can end on Nat Beast, but that's something that Magnet Warriors can already do themselves, and that's really more of a Naturia Beast problem. And I think in general, like what these decks end on, like, for being such an all-in combo deck, which this is definitely going to be, I think it's not even like that's less than what Elf Nodes end on, for example, like Elf Node Fiendsmith or whatever. Like they end on more than that, and they also are more consistent at it probably. So and it's probably that deck probably also has better Fuwalos lines. So yeah. I don't know. Even as a non-combo deck fan, I can't really bring myself to hate these cards in particular. I think the Adamancipator cards themselves were always the least problematic part in Adamancipator, which I think is pretty obvious if you look at the end board consisting of ideally 0 Adamancipator cards, right? Like the Adamancipator end board had 0 Adamancipator cards on it, which is, I think that's always an indicator that there's something wrong. But yeah. Okay. All right. YCS Japan report. Oh yeah, I did want to take a look at that. Hold up. So, hold up. They did have a YCS in Japan, Osaka to be exact, and it had about 5,000 duelists, which is crazy. Here's the thing. I didn't really have time to watch the live stream for this over the course of the weekend. It was live streamed, and I tuned into exactly one feature match while I was doing the Duel Links Worlds qualifier. Just when I was on a break, we looked at one feature match. And in that one feature match, the thing that I saw was someone FTKing with power patrons through 2 hand traps or something. And later on, I've been told that, like, that's been the thing for the majority of the day in this tournament. For a lot of the other, like, the feature matches as well. Which I think, like, this tournament format, like, this is not super representative of the OCG as a whole, because, like, and I want to make this clear, this YCS format is by far the worst way to play Yu-Gi-Oh competitively, probably, because this is OCG ban list best of 1, which is like, you could never bring me to play that format. OCG already is, in my opinion, the format with the worst ban list, because they have way too powerful cards that are legal. A lot of the stuff that, like, it's not even just Max C. It's so many like generic end board pieces that are legal. So many broken combos like exist, and they just like do a couple of consistency hits and call it a day. And it's so hard to really play that format in general, I think. I've looked into it a couple of times in the past, and it never looked really appealing to me personally. But then best of one, 5,000 people, and you are not even guaranteed in top cut. I think if you go, I think X2 you're out, X1 you need good tiebreakers, which is crazy. Because it's like 5,000 people, they don't play enough rounds, because I think it's a one-day event. It's a one-day event, so they cut down to top 64 after like, I don't know, 10 rounds or something with 5,000 people, or 9 rounds. It's insane. It's actually, it's completely, you couldn't make this shit up. Like, anyone who would be interested in creating a tournament with some sort of competitive idea would never choose this structure. 5,000 people. Hold up. 5,000 people, 9 rounds, cut to top 64. You're not guaranteed with 8-1. You're not, you go 8-1 in a best of one format, and 54 of those players make it, 33 don't. It's completely ridiculous how this tournament format works. It would be slightly better if they did 10 rounds, but I'm pretty sure it's 9. With 10 rounds, it would be X1 is at least guaranteed, right? And some people with X2 would sneak in, which would be much better. But at 9 rounds, it's literally just X1 isn't even guaranteed, which is completely insane. Like, there's people in this tournament who probably lost like round 7 and then won the last 2, and they didn't make it because tiebreakers. Lol. So that's everything about this format is just is bad, pretty much. But the tournament format is bad. The ban list isn't great. Best of one isn't great. Like, it's just free. It's basically, I think YCS Japan events are just like, they're there for a celebration of the game. You know, people go there, people prepare for it, of course. But I from my perspective, I don't think it's something that you can really, like, you know, expect anything from in terms of like you prepare for it, because it's just Gamba. It's literally just Gamba. It's 9 rounds. It's more of a convention. Yeah, it's just like you go there, everyone's trying to have a good time, and no one should probably take the tournament too seriously, because it's literally not possible. Like, I think if you take this tournament too seriously, you just set yourself up for major disappointment, because freaking 9 rounds best of one, you need to go 9-0 to guarantee top 64, and then you need to win 6 more rounds in a row as well to win, and that's also best of one. It's insane. It's genuinely insane. And as a result, I think this is not completely representative of the OCG, but it does, I think, you know, it does showcase some of the problems with the OCG, like handling of the ban list and everything, and the tournament. But yeah, the second place deck was literally an FTK, and I don't mean like an FTK board. This is literally an FTK. With the Lyrilusk Independent Nightingale being copied twice by the Supreme King Starving Venom. This is the deck that I tuned into on stream. I don't know which round it was that they had the feature match. It wasn't the finals because they won, but it was like top 8 or top 16 or something that we tuned into it. And this deck is completely insane. So it's a combination of so many things. Like in the OCG, Electromite is legal, enabling some of these combos, which it probably would still be possible without Electromite, but Electromite makes it easier. They have the combination of Supreme King Starving Venom and Independent Nightingale still legal for no reason. And they're also using this new Link 5 monster, which is also, when I read this card, and I think I had the same reaction to this as basically everyone else. This is a Link 5 monster that allows you to use a monster from your hand as material, so it's essentially a Link 4. And it sends any monster from deck to the graveyard. Or if you use 2 monsters, if you only use monsters on the field, you can even send from the extra deck to the graveyard. So this is how they get the Nightingale into the graveyard, is they just make this thing that requires 2 bodies, literally 2 bodies, as long as the link rating equals 5, and sends any card from deck or extra deck to the graveyard. So when I read this card for the first time a couple of weeks ago, like I immediately knew that a few things. This card should have never been made. This card is going to be used for extremely terrible things, and this card is going to end up being banned 1,000%. This card cannot stay legal. We are going to end up complaining about this card for a year, maybe 2, worst case 3. This card is going to end up being banned. This should have never been made. And the thing is, at this point, you can't even call it much of a ticking time bomb anymore, because the time bomb has basically already exploded, because literally the first YCS Japan after this card was printed, an FTK deck using the card made it to 2nd place, which is insane. And I literally watched this guy FTK someone through double hand trap. I think it was Ash Imperm, and they just FTK'd him. Yeah. It's completely bonkers. So, yeah. And from what I've been told, now this is what I witnessed from this YCS, but from what I've been told, the rest of the stream wasn't much different from this. We have some toon decks here, which are probably the definition of toxic in best of 1 as well. Like the deck just like goes first, activates the mind scan, looks at your hand and calls out a card that you can't use, paired with some other interruptions, and that's that. Wait, this is also an FTK? How is this how does this FTK? Is this one an FTK? Oh. So how does this work? Shadow Toon? What is Shadow Toon? If you control Toon World, target a face-up monster your opponent controls, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the attack of that face-up monster. Oh my god. Okay, man. So you give them a big token with Bish Balkin. Wait, no, you give them Bish Balkin, right, with the Transverser, and then you just win. So that was, so top 4 of the deck lists we know is already 2 FTKs. And the fourth one might also be the same deck. I don't know. Does this one have the FTK? This one does not have the FTK, but there's a Reprodokas in here, so there's probably something devious going on there as well. This one is not the FTK either. There's multiple toon decks in here. This one is the FTK. This is not. This is not. Here's the thing. Even if they're not the FTK, though, I think the toon deck is pretty disgusting. And I've heard that from even OCG players. This is FTK as well. This is not. This is. Bro, if I'm telling you right now, if we had a YCS in the TCG and there was like, this looks like there's 10 or more FTKs in top 64. If we were looking at that in the TCG, we would be losing our minds. Genuinely, we would be losing our minds. It's already something that people are concerned about if like one FTK exists or makes it into the top cut of a YCS. But for an FTK deck to get 2nd place, and for like another FTK having like 8 spots or something in top 64 is completely insane. It's completely insane. And then the rest, what are the other decks? Like, well, there's Cool Tune, which can only work because other people are playing these crazy decks, so you need to play a deck with like 20 hand traps to even have a chance. Honestly, can't blame anyone for playing this many hand traps when everyone else is trying to do this. But then there's like, the alternative is like, okay, yeah, Cool Tune FTK, FTK, super cringe version of Toon that isn't an FTK but still is like pretty unenjoyable from what I've heard. Odeon, which is the definition of just win the coin toss or throw dominus cards at your opponent. Or Elf Node, which is just another flavor of an FTK when you go first. It doesn't actually FTK, but it's just setting up more negates than your opponent has cards in hand. So, and Lunalight, which is funny because Lunalight is probably the healthiest deck we've seen so far. That's insane. How did they make it? How did they make it here? Because bro, you got no hand traps against the FTKs. You got Charmies, but you're dying. Yeah, it's a rough format. I'm not gonna lie. It really is a rough format. Yeah. I don't know what else to say. I don't know what else to say. I'm worried about the Toon deck as a whole. I think the Toon deck is looking not super enjoyable. And I think the Power Patron cards, Power Patron and Pendulum in general just keeps like it just keeps proving that they should stop making these. Like we should just forget that this happened, all right? Like we should just put the Pendulum mechanic behind us, all right? Like we're better off without it. It's unfortunately the truth. Rough is an understatement. It's simply bad. Their next ban list needs to be massive. Here's the thing. I think anyone who looks at the OCG over the last couple of years has been saying the same thing over and over and over again. Like these ban lists just do too little. The ban lists in the OCG just do too little, and if you keep doing too little over and over and over again, this is what you get to. Like, yes, this is not representative of all of the OCG because it is best of one, which means that, of course, like maybe some more high variance strategies are going to come out on top. But at the end of the day, like still, the best of three format is not going to be looking that much different. But yeah. The spell canceller spam in TCG is also unfun. That's the thing, right? Like the looking at the OCG and saying like, haha, bad, it's just like, it is in some ways also a coping mechanism because we do have some aspects of this in the TCG as well. Just because the OCG is worse does not make the TCG automatically good. We also have these problems, which is also why I call out whenever there's a ban list that doesn't do enough. I do call it out because I'm scared that we could end up in a situation like this where we are on a streak of like mediocre ban lists, and eventually we get to a format like this where shit like this is happening, right? And this is why I want them to keep up a good pace at handling some of these cards. You know, we at the moment we don't have the Toon cards yet, right? And the Power Patrons for our format are not FTK, but they are summoning a Morphage Sloth and putting a Morphage Lechery in the scale, which says your opponent cannot summon from the extra deck and can't activate spell cards, which is still a problem. That's just the same thing, but a different flavor. And we have FTKs in the format as well. People are playing actual FTKs in the TCG. Power Patron does have an FTK that's just less powerful than this one, apparently. But people are playing FTKs in Power Patron. People are playing Gustav Max FTKs in like the Earth Machine deck as well. We had Satellar Knight FTK, which topped the UK Nationals. We saw it this past weekend, right? So I want to make this clear that like you can't just take this and just go like, haha, OCG bad, right? This is just something that if you think this is bad, then you should also be worried about some things going on in the TCG right now. And I think that's why it's important to keep like asking for some of these cards to go. Like we do need, yes, this is bad, but you know, this is something that also happens in other forms of the Yu-Gi-Oh card game. You know, it happens in the TCG as well, just in different shapes. And I think you just need to be vocal about like, we don't want this in our game. There used to be a time, and this is something that it genuinely confuses me. There used to be a time whenever an FTK was possible, even just possible, not even popular, they would do something about it on the ban list. There are cards on the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG ban list from like years ago that are just on here because there was some fringe FTK that no one actually played, but they just put it on there just in case because they didn't want that stuff to happen. Like those, like the Tyrant Neptune is a card on here that on the TCG ban list that was just on there because there was a random FTK. Amaryllis, right? They just realized a few years ago, like, hey, no one is actually playing these cards for good, and no one is using these cards for good. All they can do is FTK. We don't want that. Let's get rid of them, right? And that is completely reasonable and good, you know? And then at some point, I don't know exactly when, but the philosophy shifted from we're banning like cards that are fringe FTKs to we're actually just encouraging people to do this. Like we're literally just printing decks around FTKs now. Like we have Gustav Max at 3, not once per turn, 2,000 damage, and then we make decks that can spam it like 4 times. We make Gimmick Puppet as a deck, which was usually a go second strategy. We just make it into an FTK deck, and it's supposed to do that. And it's just weird to me. It's very, very weird to me. And the Toon cards as well. The Toon cards, like as soon as I read these cards, I knew that these were never going to be used for enjoyable gameplay. Like this card, while you have a Toon card in your field or graveyard, your opponent must keep their hand revealed. Also, you can look at their set cards at any time. If you have a Toon monster and a Toon spell in your field or grave, declare a card name that is not among the cards effects in this chain. Negate the activated effects of cards with that name until the end of this turn. Literally completely disgusting. Like you just look at your opponent's hand. This is like Talon's look at hand and take a card away every single turn. Every single game is what this card is. So if you thought Talon's look at hand or if you thought Rotary were cards that are unenjoyable, like look at this card. This is your opponent looks at your hand and calls out one card that you can't use every single turn. Which is completely insane. It's completely insane. You probably actually just lose like half of your games against this deck going second. You just lose because they see your hand with this, and all they need is like one non-engine plus take the best card out of your hand with this card, and you just can't play the game. Probably is what happens here. So yeah, it honestly, it doesn't even matter how cool the rest of the Toon cards are. This card alone is just, you know. And we see this already. We see how much people are like complaining about Cool Tune with Rotary already. Now imagine if Rotary didn't just look at your hand, it also let you declare one of the cards and you can't use it. That's what this deck does. So yeah, we've gone from like Justice Hunters format, we've gone to this breakdown, which is Cool Tune, Toon, and then the next deck is Elf Notes, which in the OCG, Elf Notes, what's the Elf Note end board? We have a little bit of Crystal Wing, a little bit of Baron the Fleur, a little bit of Elf Note Trap to negate a card, and we have like 15 hand traps in the main deck, plus they end on a hand loop from Tinia. And there's even other versions of this deck. It can hand loop with Omega. It can Dragster for a spell trap negation. Yeah. So essentially, this deck is just end on the best generic synchros in the game and negate every card your opponent plays and do a little hand loop on top of it. So that's the next popular deck. So I don't know, dude. And it's just like every aspect of it is just a combination of issues that all together build up into this problem, right? Power Patron is a problem because they refuse to ban Electromite and they refuse to ban FTK enablers like the Starving Venom and the Nightingale, right? They just haven't done anything about this, which leads to this deck being a problem. Elf Note is a problem because they refuse to hit the generic synchro endboard pieces like Baron the Fleur, and some other ones that are also still legal that are not even in this deck, like a Savage Dragon is also still legal in the OCG, or you know, even cards like Crystal Wing or Dawn Dragster, which are not nearly as like present, but still, if they happen in combination with these other ones, they're definitely a problem. And then on top of that, they're not designing new archetypes well at the moment. Like at the moment, I think there is a problem with the design philosophy going on for like specifically Toon is a massive like it's a downgrade. Even Cool Tune, which is a deck that I personally I don't hate Cool Tune as much. I also don't love Cool Tune. I'm kind of like indifferent on it, but I think going one step further from Rotary is definitely horrible in terms of design. Like, I think putting a look at your opponent's hand at all times and take a card away from it every turn is completely insane. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else to say about this. Other than it's concerning. It is very concerning. And on the other hand, we have the TCG looking like this, which is, I think, better, but still there's some things here that we should talk about. For example, in this tournament, which is the UK National Championships 2026, we had 5 Cool Tunes in top 8, which is a pretty large amount actually. But we also had this deck in the top 4, which is a Constellar Teller Knight. And there was another one in top 16 actually, which is crazy. How did 2 of them make it? Did they play like the same deck? Yeah, the goal of this deck is to farm all of the decks that don't play hand traps right now. And this literally, by the way, this is the biggest thing that happens when a format is good. This is the cycle. This is the cycle that always happens when a format is good. It's decks make fair end boards is step 1. Step 2 is people play less hand traps, because fundamentally people don't want to play 20 hand traps in their deck. People only put 20 hand traps in their deck if they're forced to. But hand trap gameplay is not very appealing, I think, for the majority of people. I'm not speaking for everyone, but for the majority of people, people are inclined to play less hand traps because it's more fun to break boards. It's more fun to actually play the game of Yu-Gi-Oh with your opponent rather than stopping every card they play. Maybe a hot take, but I think a lot of players in the TCG want to play the game with their opponent if they can, which is why people gravitate towards more engine-heavy strategies or more board breaker-heavy strategies. Those are decks that typically are referred to as more fun. You know, people enjoy those decks more than playing 15 one-card starters, 25 hand traps, or something like that. But whenever that happens, whenever the format is in a state where people say like, the format's actually pretty good right now, you can play board breakers, you can play like your droplets, your super polys, your Forbidden Crowns. You know, Forbidden Crown probably one of the best indicators of this. Like when a card like this is viable going second, like the format's probably in a pretty good place. However, then of course, which is the nature of competitive card games, people try to find a way to exploit that. People try to find a way to exploit the fact that people are not really like playing hand traps. And that's what decks like this do. So the goal of this deck is to set up a Teller Knight Ptolemaeus with a bunch of materials, which this card says you can detach 7 materials from this card, skip your opponent's next turn. Period. That's it, by the way. That's the effect. So why did they make this card this way, or why did they make support for this deck to be able to tutor it out easier? I don't know. I can't tell you that. I don't know who thought that was a good idea, but the deck's now a thing, I guess. And if you're playing, and it's not the only deck that does this, by the way. The the Dutch national championships were won by Power Patron, which is also essentially an FTK but in a different flavor. Here, Power Patron. Which this one, okay, shout outs to them. This one doesn't play the Amorphages, actually. That's pretty based. This one probably just ends on a bunch of like it ends on, it looks like Vortex Dragon, Omni Negate, Varudras Omni Negate, and plays a bunch of hand traps to pair up with it. So it's just got like 9 Dominus cards plus Ash plus Imperm, and ends on like the Archmage counter trap as well. So the deck itself can already produce 3 negations plus whatever non-engine you have, plus whatever like IP into SP. So yeah. So these are the type of decks that pop up basically when it's a board breaker format. Check second place. There's no list for it though, but it's Archmage Power Patron, which is probably not much different from that. So yeah, it's always weird for me when this happens. When I want to like the current format, when I like think there's a lot of healthy things going on in the game right now, when I think a lot of decks are promoting healthy back and forth gameplay, and then this stuff pops out of nowhere where it's just people now FTKing the people that are trying to play Yu-Gi-Oh with each other. And I think and I want to say that that's not the player's fault. Of 100% people are trying to win. If everyone's playing board breakers, you try to find a way to exploit that. That's natural. Zero blame to the players who are discovering these strategies. You know, zero blame to the players trying to like put out Amorphage Sloth and Lechery to beat stuff like Forbidden Crown Droplet Super Poly. Like that's natural. People are going to try to find you know, solutions to the cards that people are playing. That's normal. The thing is like how powerful should these solutions like be is my thing in terms of a balancing standpoint. Like if people are enjoying a format with like little hand traps and healthy back and forth gameplay, should people really have tools like Naturia Beast or summoning 4 Omni Negates or summoning Sloth Lechery or Secret Village or whatever, right? Like should these tools be available to players at all times? And I would argue the answer is probably no. Because I think it makes it really hard to have a it's basically the way that the Yu-Gi-Oh ban list is made at the moment. It's very hard for there to be a long streak of healthy formats because and it always goes in waves, right? Like we have good formats, we always do, but then people find ways to just quote unquote ruin it by making more FTK decks, right? And it always goes in these waves, right? Like we get, oh, here's Draco Tail Yummy format because they got rid of like some of the Vanquish Soul stuff. So here's Draco Tail Yummy. What do these 2 decks have in common? Well, they're pretty breakable, so people find ways to floodgate the shit out of them, and it goes down again, and so on and so forth, right? And right now is the same thing. It's like, oh, the format was Cool Tune, which is very breakable, so people started playing stuff like Sky Striker, playing stuff like Branded, playing other high engine decks to just play into the Cool Tune board. Well, how about we just FTK each other instead when no one's playing a lot of hand traps? And like, yeah, that works apparently, and there's still a lot of tools for doing it. There's still you can turn skip with Teller Knights, you can summon Amorphages, you can what was it? We watched the Belgian national championships, right? Last weekend. We watched like the day 2 for it, the top 8, and it was just like I think top 8 was people FTKing each other in like 4 different flavors over the course of 3 different matches. It was like in one game it was Secret Village, the other game it was Amorphages, the other game it was just, I don't know, like an Archmage combo. I don't know. It was multiple. Then there was what else was there? Wasn't there also an FTK there? Was the Earth Machine an FTK or just making a board? I don't remember. Oh yeah, that Spell Canceller. It was Spell Canceller. The Earth Machine deck did Spell Canceller. So it was literally in the top 8. We've seen 3 matches, and in those 3 matches we saw all of that. So it's, yeah. And this is why I keep saying, there is no other solution to this problem than to keep going on the floodgates. We had that phenomenal ban list. Last year with all the floodgates after YCS Anaheim, and people are slowly but surely discovering more and more ways to tutor out other floodgates, to tutor out other FTKs or other auto wins. So we need to keep going. There is no other way. And so, yeah, now we are at the point where people, instead of doing dimensional barrier, or instead of doing this or tutoring out a barrier statue, people are tutoring out Tellarknight Ptolemaeus. People are tutoring out Secret Village of the Spellcaster. People are tutoring out Spellcaster. So, yeah. We need to keep it up. All right, well, enough yapping about that. Makes me frustrated. Also love that we get a new generic Omni in the extra deck every year. Varudra, Zalen, cool. I mean, yeah, they do need to tone it down on the generic extra deck stuff, but I do think that, like, the most outrageous one is probably the Link 5, the one that we don't even have yet, the Zena, the one that just sends any monster. Like, we just banned Beatrice. Come on, dude. We just had to ban Beatrice a year ago. Why are we making a new one? Yeah. We are not doing stage 1. I did stage 1 already. I did stage 1 yesterday off stream. Because this week, I just want to focus on playing as much Master Duel as I can. In like a more focused fashion than usual. Not quite as focused as like for the Duelist Cup, of course, but I do want to just play the game at a high level and try to find my deck for the weekend, because I haven't really decided yet what I want to play. I want to practice some Branded first today, because it's the deck I have. I have practice with it, but I should probably get some more. And I just want to grind rated duels is my idea. This is currently what we're looking at. This is currently my list. I'm not 100% on some of the choices yet, but I did like it so far. I've seen people even cut down the Tri-Brigade Springen's kit. I have been a fan of it, however, when I was using it, but there is an opportunity to make this deck even slightly more consistent by adding in another Nadir Servant or another Albion. I did like the after French Nationals, where Julian got second place with triple Albion. I tried some lists with multiple Albions. I think the card is nice to have, but I don't think it's good enough to justify 3 of, simply because I don't want to risk drawing multiples. Yeah. No Mercurier? Yeah, I've cut Mercurier and Goldstark, and I've never looked back. Never looked back. So I've been liking this. Tried Perskinian? I have not played with Perskinian. I'm sure you explained why no Servant, but why? There is Servant in the deck. Ooh, 60 cards. Was that branded? How good are Bestials this format? I think they're pretty solid. Yep, it's branded. Okay, we have Super Poly. That's good. The thing that's hard for me to evaluate for this format in Master Duel right now is what really is the format. Like, are people playing mostly branded? Are people playing mostly Draco Tail? Are people playing mostly Cool Tune? Because I think all of those decks are viable. Because at my like here's the thing. My stage 1 climb yesterday, I saw a lot of different decks and a lot of random stuff that I don't think I'm gonna see in the Worlds qualifier as often. At least not in the higher ranks. I think in the higher ranks there's not gonna be as much. Like I played against like 60 card heroes and all that kind of stuff yesterday in the climb to stage 2. Admit you're wrong. Enya is meta in Master Duel. I always said Enya is a fine deck. I don't think it's top meta though. If people know how to play against it, it's still not very good. It does have the dimensional fissure bonus, but in general, like I haven't been struggling against Enya Craft unless they drew dimensional fissure with most of my decks. As long and that's the thing that's gonna happen soon. Ooh, Royal Altered Alibur is nice. That's a flex. I would play Branded Opening too if I played that. Or if I had that. Like, Enya Craft is a fine deck, but the problem with Enya Craft is the more relevant it gets, the worse it gets. Because as soon as people are forced to read and understand these cards, you're gonna have a bad time. Enya is just a new flavor of man? No, that is a super ignorant take, I think. Treating Enya as a stun deck, I think, is very, very ignorant. The deck is not very stun-like. It does play Dimensional Fissure, which is a cringe card in itself, but Enya Craft in itself is a very interactive deck. The only problem is that, like, Enya Craft, I think if you're playing Enya Craft, you put all of the agency into your opponent's hands, is my issue with it. And Vanity's Fiend. I've played against a ton of Enya Craft yesterday. I didn't see a singular Vanity's Fiend. The best versions of the deck don't play Vanity's Fiend. Vanity's Fiend, I think, is not good in Enya Craft. Is there a reason why only Western communities complain about Enya playing D-Fissure? Are you basing that off of anything? Or are we just saying things? There's gonna be one hell of an end phase. You think they play 2 Quests? Because otherwise the Titanic Land doesn't seem great here. But they are playing 60 cards with a ton of random one-offs, so they might. Oh, they're just searching an Albaz with it. Okay. Retribution is somewhat scary. Okay, so in hand, Albaz, Ecclesia, and Cartesia, Retribution, and Fallen. Hello. Okay. Could have started with branded fusion maybe. If they negate it with retribution, I can get it back with my retribution. Would have been neat. Aluber is a neat pickup. It's not royal though. I'm definitely operating at an aura loss right now. Thank you for the 2 gifties, whoever that was. Also, Bibito, thank you for the 8 months. I do not have opening in the deck, no. I was thinking about playing one for this matchup or for this situation. Wait, can I not use my Titanic Lad now? Like at all? Why not? Is that how it's supposed to work? Did I just mess that up? You said no to it? Yeah, because I wanted my opponent to resolve their mandatory effect first. It's a Master Duel bug? Okay, well, yeah. You are the turn player? Okay, I know that. But aren't you forced to resolve mandatory effects before you can resolve optional effects? Yeah, in TCG, it's like you pass priority to your opponent and then they have to say yes to the mandatory one, and then you can do the optional ones after. It's definitely not like this in TCG. I know that. So don't act like I'm the stupid one right now. So is it different in OCG, or is Master Duel just being weird? What's the issue? It's Master Duel specific. Oh, dude, that's so that makes such a big difference in a branded mirror, though. Oh, that's so bad. That is a problem. That's not good. They played 2 Mirror Jade? No, they got it back with... they shuffled it in as fusion material. They do have more gas than I do. Because they play 60 cards. I don't know how I feel about that one. That, like, I mean, on the one hand, I did win. On the other hand, that really does make me worried for the weekend for playing branded. If, like... So what, because what does that mean? If I cannot force my opponent to resolve their Mirror Jade before my optional triggers, that makes Mirror Jade completely insane, doesn't it? It's like if you're playing into a board that has Mirror Jade on it in the branded mirror, like, how are you gonna structure your end phase? Is gonna be terrible. I could have used the Ecclesia. I could have used the Ecclesia to get a card back to the hand, but that would have hardly made a difference there. It also means you can't wait until Synchro Ecclesia comes back. Yeah, exactly. Opening may be needed. Opening, that does make a one of opening a little bit more reasonable, but at the same time, it's not really about protecting your fusion monsters. It's about the fact that, like, normally, what I was trying to do there was I was trying to force them to resolve the Mirror Jade so that then I can use Titanic Lad to summon Quem. Then I was going to use my Fallen and the Virtuous in hand to send one and use the Quem to revive. I was going to rebuild my board after the Mirror Jade resolves, is what I was trying to do. If you had Praskinian, would it have mattered? You were locked out of Praskinian on your own turn anyways, because of Albaz. That's why I think Praskinian isn't good, because you can only summon it on your opponent's turn with the Grand. Because on your turn, you're 99% of the time. You weren't locked? Oh, they negated the... No, they negated it. I summoned it. Oh no, it came off Ecclesia, right? In this particular case, because I didn't have access to it in my hand, I wasn't locked. That's true. Yeah, I did summon it from the deck with this. Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, the Super Poly for Praskinian wouldn't have made much of a difference there, because I would have had to use... I mean, I could have used their Praskinian. Did they have light and dark? Because they had Mirror Jade, Mercurier. What was the last monster? Ecclesia. Yeah, I guess I could have used Ecclesia, Praskinian, and Mirror Jade, but then I would have left the Mercurier on board. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, in the case where you don't start with this, I guess it's fine. DDD has nothing on Branded's difficulty. Dude, DDD, this is something that DDD players will not like to hear, but DDD is a very straightforward spreadsheet combo deck now. DDD used to be a deck with a lot of different lines, and they just made it so it isn't anymore. Like DDD is just a completely normal, like practice your combos, do the same thing every game type of deck now. Why not Draco Tail branded? I mean, I'm just practicing, dude. Let me practice some branded. Draco Tail is an option too. Linked a very cool deck to you in Discord. I'm not gonna play a Fiendsmith deck for this cup. I don't think it's a good time to play Fiendsmith. How do you feel about Sky Striker? I think Striker is a good deck in Master Duel right now, but I'm a little worried about playing it for this weekend because I think the branded and branded Draco Tail matchups are pretty hard. And also, I'm not sure how many other people are going to play like random FTK stuff because it always happens in the Duelist Cup. But it is a good deck right now. It beats Cool Tune. I think at the highest level right now, it's kind of like a little triangle format where Cool Tune, I think Cool Tune beats Draco Tail relatively consistently, but I think Branded beats Cool Tune, but Draco Tail is good against Branded because Sting is extremely good. Actually, I could make Garura here. But then I pass to Fallen into Virtuous if they pop my Cartesia. No, I think this. I'm worried because I feel like they might have Ash. And Ash is going to be good against me here. Probably no need to special summon here. This is Fallen into Virtuous. Isn't this game? Bro, they have Rindbrum and Fallen into Virtuous. It's not game, no. Not looking good. Ashmax C was quite annoying. Because I would have liked to go Quem send Springant's kit to get this back. To have a good fusion with the Cartesia. Also, this being in the grave is not good for me, depending on what they hit. I hope they hit the droplet. I was playing around Joel and Lockbird when the only card in my hand is known. What did Albion get? Branded Fusion. Okay. Can't reborn their synchro. I don't have a Ecclesia myself, but I can't afford to not get it back because then I don't have a super poly discard. Is it worth playing Droll? I think Droll is ass right now. I think Droll is not good right now, no. I was playing Sky Striker in stage 1 yesterday and I was raging every time someone had it because I felt like it's so bad to play it right now. Ah! But the Mululu still triggers is the problem. The good news is that they have all Albazes now in rotation, so they can't currently activate Branded Fusion. They did send this just now, and this, right? So they can't just get Ketu or Rahu here. One card in their hand is a Branded Fusion. One is a Branded in High Spirits. One is a Cartesia, right? Or is it a second Ecclesia? No, they have to have Cartesia, right? But they have... Wait, they have High Spirits, right? Oh no, they used High Spirits. It's Cartesia, Ecclesia, Urgula, Branded Fusion. Wait, where's the Frixel coming from? I'm confused. Did they not? Oh wait, no, the Ecclesia is gone already. Now it's Branded Fusion and Cartesia. I might be okay. So the Branded Fusion cannot be used. Cartesia is going to be the material for Rahu, I guess. They will have 2 traps at the end of this. But my end phase is going to slap. So. Yeah, it's Cartesia and Branded Fusion in hand. Okay, my end phase, I'm gonna get Cartesia, Ecclesia, Devour, and Albion. So Branded Fusion, this is Branded Fusion. This is Fallen the Virtuous to beat Flame. And this is, yeah, okay. No, I'm fine. I think I'm fine. They cannot normal summon the Frixel, they already did. They can special Cartesia. Can they do anything with Secretarion, maybe? Do they have room for Secretarion in these builds? They probably try to make room for it. It seems very good. Well, the weird thing for them there was they couldn't make Gulamel. They couldn't make Gulamel because they were locked by the white Albaz. So they had to like waste their second Arthalion now, which was weird. So I don't know. They honestly, they should have just not activated the first Arthalion. I think that's the way they win this game. Is if they just all they had to do was put the Urgula in grave without playing into my back row. Like just make because you're gonna make 2 Arthalions this turn anyways with the Albaz lock. So just make Arthalion, or even like could have just made with the Ketu, could have just made Secretarion, and then trigger the Urgula, set Rahu, pop it, and then make an Arthalion with the Rahu, and then you're good. Ecclesia Synchro affecting Graveyard 2, they did that already. They did that. But they used it on Fallen into Virtuous, which I also think was incorrect. Master Duel right now is peak. It's probably the best Yu-Gi-Oh! We're going to play until next year. I unfortunately think it's probably, from what I'm seeing in the OCG right now, it is downhill from here, yeah. But the format is not bad. It's pretty good. Please be branded, please be branded, please be branded. Or Sky Striker, you know, you can be Sky Striker, it's fine. That is the most cringe thing it could have been. That is literally the single most cringe thing that could have happened. That is the worst case scenario. Nadir so bad going second. It's literally the best card in my hand right now. It's literally the only thing that's keeping me alive. What are you talking about? I mean, I get it. It's worse going second than going first, but it's literally my only good card right now. I would play other starters if there were any, but don't tell me Branded Opening is as good as Nadir Servant, bro. Like, what would Branded Opening do here instead? Alibur is good too. Alibur is good too in a world where it resolves, but we don't live in that world. Because do you see what they're doing? My cards are not resolving. The fact that Zodiac Ratpier is being used in this way makes me sad. The fact that it's a 1-card Utopic Draco Future before searching and then searching a Radiant Typhoon starter is slopification at its worst. And it's it's especially bad because it's the slopification of 2 archetypes at the same time that are both pretty cool individually, like Radiant Typhoon and Zoo. But the end result is just this. No, it's a neat tech. I don't know. I feel like this sort of stuff, like people always say like, oh, that's neat, that's creative, but like, bro, that was creative for like 5 seconds maybe, and then everyone's doing it, and now it's just an unskippable cutscene that ends on more than what Radiant Typhoon is supposed to end on. I don't really buy that. Like, oh, that's neat, that's creative. It's just, bro, just okay. Normal summon, don't get Fuba, and end on monster negate, monster pop, and full Radiant Typhoon combo is not that neat. You could say the same about Branded and Draco Tail, and I did. I did say the same thing about Branded and Draco Tail. Oh! Oh, wait. This... This is good for me, but I don't know when it's good for me. I still lose a card from this. It's not that great. I guess they're afraid of Nib. No, they just want to rather negate the Magna on field with the Utopic Draco future. Can they do anything with the Magna? I don't know, but I hardly think it matters. I could have gone Serenir instead, maybe. But, yeah. Then I'm not getting Magnamoot Search either. Yeah, I've done stage 1. I've done stage 1. Not on stream, but I've done stage 1. Shut up, chat. We all know how powerful Ash Blossom is going second. Yeah, what do I do? I think I just lose. If I normal summon Alubert, I just use this on it. I can't super poly this. It's not gonna make a difference, dude. I'm still not winning this. Still nice to see an MST negate not go through. I mean, this was going to be a completely fine game if it wasn't for the Zodiac cards. Like this is what puts it over the top. If I could have just super polyed the other two and resolved my Aluber, I probably would have been fine. That's game. Thank God you top deck Dash. I wouldn't even be playing Ash if I wasn't scared of Draco Tail, is the thing. Like I'm playing Ash for the one matchup in which it's healthy, but in all these other matchups it's just a completely dead card, which is annoying. Send FNV, get it back and use it. I mean, they have another MSC though. I often go main phase with high spirits because I feel like it's actually better for me if they troll me sometimes. Fine. 53 cards, by the way. Yeah, the droll is pretty bad, which is why I'm okay with it. Which is why I went main phase to begin with. I could get Quem here, but I can already get Quem in the end phase with my... I think it's just Cartesia. Can't search in the end phase. So it's either a Rindbrum already. Could also send Albion to send a... I already have High Spirits though. I don't really want Retribution. I think I'll just set up the Rindbrum already. Yeah, I'll send Rindbrum. What does bro have now? Nib? It's end phase. Okay. Bro, Droll Maxi Fallen of White in 53, man. Okay. Okay then. Sure. I guess they didn't want a Magna under their own role, but I think that's incorrect. I think they should have Magnet me on something. Titanic Clad, probably. There's a minor spelling mistake in the title. Oh yeah. Worlds. Worlds. Alright, I guess it's a branded fusion line. Fine. I can't stop it because I don't play Mercurier. Not that I need to. I don't think I need to stop it. I think I'm fine. Oh, branded in white. Okay. Oh, okay. Let me think about that. What's the card in their hand? I forgot. Oh, Cartesia. They should have crashed the Mirror Jade, yeah, because now I think I can just kill them. We do place Aeronir. I do like these mirror matches. I do think they're cool. I just wonder if it's something that, like, at the very high level, you're going to be able to keep up for an entire weekend. Because it is really stressful. it's not about them being too slow. Like I don't think that's the problem. I think as long as you have a good win rate, that doesn't matter. But it's just hard. You consider Cool Tune the best deck, or is it still number 2 or 3? I think Cool Tune is good, but I think it struggles into some of these other decks. Like, I think the Branded and Sky Striker and Draco Tail matchup... the Draco Tail matchup's fine, but the Branded and Sky Striker matchups are hard. The biggest problem with this hand is that both of these High Spirits are dead. I'm mashing the first card against this deck. This matchup is not good, I think, if they get to do the board. Oh, Ash is so good, dude. I'm so proud of myself right now. What a great game. What a great game. Not Johnny Kim. Think about it, 2 months. Not right now. I'm busy with something else right now. Remember when they would see Branded and never use Ash until Branded Fusion? I mean, that their Ash was correct. I thought about using Branded Fusion to bait Ash first. But then I lose to Ash plus Purge, which I know some Exo-Sisters play. Because then they can Ash first and then Purge my High Spirits after. If I start with High Spirits, they... The hell? Oh, okay. Do I even Ash? I don't think I Ash. Oh, I got baited. Okay, nice. They didn't have the one that stops hand traps. Yeah, that's the one that's that, or like not stops but punishes hand traps. I'm thinking about ashing Rebirth because I feel like as long as they don't have die fight, I'm okay. But the problem is ashing is I get punished very hard for it. Like they get a lot of card advantage for my Ash. Doesn't Droplet carry? Droplet is good as long as they don't draw die fight, but I think it's probably good for me to let them draw and just hope they don't draw die fight because the Ash is so neg. The Ash is probably just a send for Droplet at this point. They do draw 4 cards. So. It's a risky maneuver, but it's either way, yeah. It's messed up. But they didn't really draw any craft off of it, which is good news for me. So I know they have this guy, which destroys a monster I control. This is... this one, right? This is the one that pops a monster. This is another one. I'm not playing champions, no. That would help here. So this is the one that negates hand trap, or responds to hand traps. The problem is this card, man. It's so infuriating to play against. It is not Enya Craft's fault that these cards exist. Remember that. Enya is not a stun deck. No, Enya is not a stun deck. If you just because you put Dimensional Fissure into your deck does not make the deck itself a stun deck. It's like saying Malice is a stun deck. It's stupid. Or Mitsu is a stun deck because they play Dai-Fi. Bro. Cool. Oh, and Ash Blossom. Cool. Oh, and Talons. Cool. The holy trinity of going first. Starter, Talons, cross out Ash. I'm not watching all that. Oh, the game doesn't want to be played. Not like we were doing much of that anyways right now. You're welcome. Say something nice about Yu-Gi-Oh. I mean, the problem is just that there's only like, I don't know, at the moment maybe like 70% of Yu-Gi-Oh games that are good, and we just have too many that are like that. Is all there is to it. It's really not that deep. It's a good game with exceptions. '70s is generous. Maybe more. I mean, depends on what format exactly you play. Yeah, I guess. When from grave. Then I don't have Cartesia. I do need Cartesia. Don't really need this guy. This would be perfect if I had Quem in deck still. I think I just draw a card. I'm not sure. This could have been better, maybe. Because I'm not sure how to handle the Quem being in hand, but I need to normal summon another card. That's a great Holly Sue, dude. I already have that one. What does this summon anymore? Dogmatica or Albaz? Ooh, that is good. This should have been, the Titanic tile should have been Dogma. Because I would like to search one here now. I would have liked to set one. Why pop Lubellion? I think they want to clog my monster zone. I'm not sure how this is going to work out for them. I guess we'll see. Okay, second Raisin in hand makes this Holly so weird, I feel like. feel like the way they played this, it should have always been start with summon Holisu in a column that isn't this. Why Chaos over Furious? Because it's better. I mean, this is Raisin and this is Lantern. They cannot play the game. They can attack my stuff, but like all I need to do is not time out in the end phase, and I definitely can beat one werewolf. They also if they attack over Mirror Jade, they lose the werewolf. If they don't attack over Mirror Jade, then I keep Mirror Jade. Same problem. Bro, if you were gonna shotgun it on my turn, then you should have used it in your end phase. Because otherwise I wouldn't have gotten the Mirror Jade banish on it. Wouldn't Jade pop it and then you also go plus off Albion? I mean, yeah, realistically, it was lost either way. But they could have maybe... I mean, I guess their best bet was to force me to do all that in end phase and maybe time out. Like, it's just... If you're gonna lose guaranteed, then you might as well do as much as you can in that one turn to maybe see if they have time left. But, yeah. But I wasn't that far away. Because if they activate the Zeus there in the end phase, I still have to trigger the Mirror Jade, and I also want to use Rentbrum to bring back my Albaz, ideally. But, I mean, I probably had enough time. Every time I draw Ash going second, I don't feel good. I like the rest of my hand, though. It's a good hand if I'm up against Draco Tail. Then I like the Ash. In all other matchups, I don't. So when do you want to draw Ash? When I get max seed, or when I go up against Draco Tail. I'm ashing the Rhoda because I think they're playing Vanquish Soul. But I will lose if they have Izuna or Stake Your Soul, or I mean, it's not a bad matchup, but it's not good if I. Oh, that's a good sign. Wait, is it Kashtira? Kashtira? No, I lost my Quem. Hello? 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 I think it's just Saryuja to find Vanquish Soul cards. I mean, I'm still not happy about that. Also, the one Quem could really hurt. I mean, realistically, there's just a million cards that instantly kill me here. Probably. That's one of them. Why don't they summon in the EMZ for an extra token? Because they actually probably don't want that. Like, what do they do with the extra token? So Fenrir can literally bridge into any archetype. I mean, it's mainly Saryuja. So yeah, Fenrir is a one-card Saryuja if you use your normal summon on it and some extra X space. But I don't know. In the TCG, we don't have Tomahawk because they banned it. because it should be banned. So is Saryuja limited in Master Duel? No. But I think Saryuja is a card that should either be at 3 or banned, honestly. I don't really think it matters that much if it's at 3. Usually you only see one copy of it anyways. Can you show your deck list? Yeah, I got time right now. Locals tomorrow? No, I can't. I need to practice for Master Duel. I'll probably go to locals in 2 weeks again. Next week I can't either. But in 2 weeks I will be there. What do you think about Vision in Branded? That's a good point. I actually think Vision is an interesting card in this deck. I just don't know where to fit it. I don't know how, because I don't really want to go over 40 to reduce the chances of opening Fallen of the White Dragon. And I don't know, without, like, I don't know, I haven't really even been playing that many quick plays. But I like the card. I think it's a cool card. I guess you would cut the Ashes, maybe. Like, unironically, you could. Probably replaces Nadir Servant. I don't know if that's good, though. Because, like... you kind of want Nadir Servant in your deck. It's a guaranteed play. Yeah, this is a reasonable end board. Probably shouldn't have discarded the Bringans kit yet. think that was a mistake. Because I keep forgetting that or sometimes I forget that the dragon that devours the dogma isn't just 2 monsters your opponent controls, but it does need a light or dark. So in my head, I was like, I'm just gonna take the Ripper and the Nesh Knight, and then I realized I couldn't do that. Normal Albaz? I don't think normal Albaz works because I do think this is the trap. I think they just hard drew the trap. Bro was not toggled on. My Quem is banished. I need to remember that. Lantern, Raisin, Holly Sue. I just hope they didn't draw dark. Because if they can bounce this right now, it's pretty bad for me. Come on. Oh, dude. Yeah. After all this work, man. I can play around it by banishing the Madlove with Mirror Jade, but then the Lupus stays in Graveyard, and I think that's a big problem for me. Dude. I think I win that game if my Quem is still in the deck, because my Titanic Lad in end phase goes crazy. My Titanic Lad in end phase goes so hard, because there's a lot of stuff I can do with it. I'm always so scared to send Titanic Lad first because of Fuwa. It scares me. Okay then. One thing I like about this deck is that there's almost no matchup that you can't win going second with Super Poly. Like in that last matchup, for example, like I don't think there's a deck in the game that can beat that board except for this deck, probably. Even the more powerful decks at going second struggle into that board. How about Striker? Hard. They had Cartesia. I know they had. You don't send Fallen of the White Dragon there because you want to probably draw a play, right? So you probably have Cartesia in hand. That's the reason why you're sending an Albaz. Yeah, I know that. I saw that. Realistically, that probably looked cooler than it was because I could just let him summon Cartesia and then Serenir hits them pretty hard later as well, but... Oh my god, not the cringe notes. Oh god, no. Out of all the decks I have to go second against. Oh, nee. Oh my god, dude. Those are cool elf node cards. The way they played it, they can't do the Azamina stuff, right? They're locked into lights. Oh no, they're not locked into lights, they're locked out of darks. Okay. But only from the extra deck. We don't want it to be too harsh. Need to be careful with that. Okay, so negate, negate, negate. Hand drip. Summon something from extra deck. Awesome. Why are we still here? I don't know, dude. I don't know. I have no idea. It's funny because Droplet would win this if they didn't give the Elf Node deck a trap card that negates Droplet. Which means you can't Droplet them unless you have a trap. to send that they can't respond to. It really is some of the dumbest design I've ever seen in my life. Come on. Come on, man. Well, technically, I could have just sent my branded fusion because I was going to get another. Well, this back row is the Tails, the White Forest spell, and one of the two cards is Deception. Oh wait, no, Deception is here. But they surged Hollowed with Deception, right? Zaylen, dude. Zaylen. Zaylen. Can't activate Nadir Servant, I don't think. I do need end phase Albaz Fuse. They have used everything. My end phase does go kind of hard. What do you want me to do, man? Yeah, the droplet needed to be better there, but I don't think I think I should have dropleted the Snake Eye as well by sending Branded Fusion or Nadir Servant, because I didn't need that in hand. Probably just sent the Branded Fusion, search another Branded Fusion. A one-time droll does something. And it wasn't even for good, because I just drew another Albion, dude. Does Nadir not lock until the end of next turn? No, it'd be unplayable if it did that. Dogmatica Punishment does that, for whatever reason. Few? What do you mean few? That was not even close. I had like, even if they had another way to stop Albaz, I still cooked them completely with synchro into Cartesia. Droll is unplayable. For these matchups, yes. For Branded and Draco Tail, Droll is a terrible card. And against Cool Tune, it's only a 50-50 whether it's good or not. So I really don't understand why people are even playing Droll right now. Like, yeah, you're good against Sky Striker, but I haven't seen a single Sky Striker today. No one plays it. It's good for any aircraft. I mean, okay, you could also just read the cards, you know? That's also good against any aircraft. I hate when this happens. I hate when I have Branded Fusion in hand, and then my Albaz resolves. I don't want to do Branded Fusion now, man. I think I won't. I do get Quem in the end phase already. I'm not playing 3 Sword Souls, no. That's not because I think it's bad, though. I just haven't really practiced with it. I'm not sure if it's needed, and I wanted the super poly targets. And I've seen a couple of people use it against me, and it never felt like it was necessary. I don't want to banish my Retribution is the thing. I was going to keep the Retribution. Striker? Well, it's 60 cards. There's no way it's Striker. Most normal 60 card hand, by the way. Okay. That is not good for me. That's not a great discard for them, I feel. It's actually branded. Of course it's branded. 60 cards right now is most likely branded. Yeah, it has to be Mirror Jade. Ugh. Check deck. I can't check their deck in rated duels. Still can't do that. What's the reasoning behind that? Well, they want people to be able to cook, I guess. Hand has like too much gas. I'm drawing a card here. I can still normal summon Quem. Okay, that's kind of bad. It is a good fusion material for the Cartesia, that's true. I could have used Fallen into Virtues to bring back the Tri Brigade Spring against Kid, but I didn't feel like it was necessary. You know what? I actually do care about that. You don't get that. It's not your turn, it's our turn. He Without Lulu, what's Grand summoning target? Nothing. I think this makes their branded fusion awkward because if they go for like Albion or Lubellion, I can like return their Albazes to the deck and then they have to do a weird fusion maybe. So I'm hoping this messes them up a little bit. They will summon Rindbrom, but I mean, that does nothing here. Sure. Hmm. Cock! What are we doing here, friend? What are we doing here? The Rindbrom was not it. The Rindbrom was not it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I mean, branded overall did well. Not bad. You play Sanctifier for evenly? I have no idea where you guys are taking the room in the extra deck from for all of these situational cards. Because for what I'm concerned, for my experience with this deck so far, and I've played a fair amount of it now. I've played it in the TCG for a couple of events. I played it in Master Duel for a decent amount of time. I tested it for German Nationals as well. I think everything starting from Garura is mandatory. I think everything starting from Titanic Lad. After this, I think if you cut the second Grand Guignol is crazy. I think it's crazy. I think you can argue about these two if they're necessary for Super Poly, because in most cases, either if you don't play Super Poly, then of course you don't play these. But even with Super Poly, very, very often in this deck, you go for Mirror Jade or Dogma. So I think that's something you can... The second Dogma is insane. Cutting second Dogma is insane. The only reason to cut second Dogma for me right now is because I only have one Royal. That's the literal only reasonable argument you can make for cutting a Dogma. But that card is necessary. 100%. And this card needs to be here too. That card does something that your deck can otherwise not do, which is destroy back row. You cannot pop spell traps in this deck, or in general set cards, if you don't play Chaos. And I have no idea why you would play the Furious Dragon instead, because Chaos pops 2 cards and Furious pops 1. I don't understand why. You've summoned it like once? Yeah, and all the cards that you are... The cards are situational, yes. That's why they don't come up every single game, but having the option for Chaos is super valuable in so many spots. Furious is a better Super Poly target, that's the argument. What is Furious material? 2 Dark Dragons. Okay, I guess if you take your opponent's monsters, yeah, sure. But I mean, this is also technically the same materials. It's just that you don't get pops if you Super Poly your opponent's cards. When does the second Grand Guignol come up? Every time you activate High Spirits with a Spellcaster and you send the 1 Grand Guignol from extra deck to grave, and then you later on need it for the Cartesia to go into. That's the thing. Like if you start with High Spirits plus Spellcaster, you otherwise don't have a Grand anymore, which I think is weird. But out of those 13 cards that I consider mandatory, yes, the second Grand Guignol is technically the most cuttable. I think that is technically the most cuttable out of those 13 cards. But everything else in these 13, I think you need to play. I just don't think you can cut any of these other. Like this or Borrowload Furious, I guess, is one slot that is mandatory. You need one of those utility destruction effects. Whether it's this one or Furious, I guess is up for debate. But either way, you're not really making room by cutting Chaos because you need to fill that spot with the Furious. Like, it's one of those two either way. It's one of those two either way. So it's the 2 Super Poly targets and the Grand Guignol that are flex, I think. I think the options that you could consider to play are another target for Grand Guignol, which could be... There's 3 targets you can do. For this, it's either Lulu, which I think is okay to play with the Nadir Servant because it's sometimes a good send. It's Quiritus, which the reason to play Quiritus is because it's the easiest one to summon, because you can always summon it. You're never locked out of it, because the problem with Luluva, Lilith, and Praskinian is they're not level 8. So if you play into a board and you use Fallen of the White Dragon and you're locked into level 8 monsters from the extra deck, and your opponent summons something on your turn, you cannot use the Grand Guignol to summon the Praskinian or the Luluva Lilith. That's something you just cannot do. Which is why they only work defensively on your opponent's turn. Which is why I've been liking this the most out of those 3, just because it can come up on both turns, which gives it a higher chance to be relevant. But at the same time, the majority of times you can just summon Quem or the Dogmatica Ecclesia, and realistically, that's fine. Like, if you already have all of that in rotation, chances are you don't need a target for this, but yeah. The other options are, I guess, 3 Sword Souls, which I don't even have, but I don't really know. I don't really feel like the lines with this card are that impressive. It's not bad. So what's the line? Like you go Fallen of White, you go Fallen of White, summon Ecclesia. Do you make Ecclesia first or 3 Sword Souls first? You have to run Golden, do you? I mean, you could. It technically, like, you could go. You need to play extra bricks. Yeah, I don't know. I've never used this card myself, so I'm not sure. But I haven't really been impressed by it when my opponent summons it. But it is an interesting card. I don't hate it. How has Kit felt? I like this card. I like this card a lot. I think it makes Quem a lot better. Like, there's so many I think in the standard combo lines you don't need it, but in the actual games it just comes up because you just randomly, like, you're like, we did it a couple times today. This thing gets Ghost Ogred, and you just go end phase Titanic Clad, send this, bring it back. Your Mirror Jade is in the graveyard in a grind game. It becomes a god card all of a sudden. So I like it. I think it's a good card. It's like the one bricky card that I'm electing to play in all of the searchable, like, random one-ofs. I guess this one also counts for that, but I think this card is mandatory. I actually feel kind of dumb for not playing it in my first list. This card is crazy. I only cited it for going first, I guess, but I think it's nice. What about the Cock and the Bird? I'm not a fan of it. I really am not a fan of the I'm not a fan. I hate Mercurier with a burning passion. I don't think it's necessary for any of your boards to be good enough to have Mercurier in your deck, realistically. I think the only argument for playing Mercurier is that you can play Gold Sarcophagus as a starter. The other, like, the bird is fine, but I don't think it's I don't think it's necessary to play a normal summon that requires a brick when you can also, you have normal summons that don't require bricks. So I don't like it. I don't think it's necessary. Okay. I guess someone likes it too. Branded in Red thoughts? I think Branded in Red is insane. I think it's insane if you put cards like that in your deck. You just don't need them. The deck is so broken without those. I think the only other one of Branded card that I would consider is one copy of Branded Opening, but not necessarily because I want to draw it, but because sometimes I want to send it for Albion. Yeah. In the main deck, there's a lot of things that I'm pretty set on. Like, I think the Serenir and the Magnamute are up for debate, depending on how you like them in the format. I do think if you're worried about the Branded Mirror match, these two are kind of crazy, though. Albion, I do like in multiples because it is a relatively good draw. It makes sure you have cards in hand to reveal for High Spirits. And it also is just a free +1 in the long run. Like, it's just Upstart Goblin that sends a card to your grave that you're going to get back for free later. Either it's High Spirits if you didn't draw High Spirits, or you send a Retribution, which is going to be a +1 in the long run. So I think it's a good card to have. I just don't think it's good enough to make room for 3, because then the chances of drawing multiples are unnecessarily high, because it's not that good. But it could be a one-of. It could be a one-of. But yeah. Do you like Pure Branded better than Dracotail? Not necessarily. I think they have pros and cons. I think, for example, against Branded, I think the Dracotail cards are very, very, very good. So if you are worried about facing against a lot of Branded, I think Dracotail is the way to go. Which we're gonna try tomorrow. I have not decided what I want to play. I have not decided what I want to play for the WCQ. There's a lot of good decks in Master Duel right now. I'm considering Branded. I'm considering Branded Dracotail. I'm considering Sky Striker. I'm considering Radiant Typhoon. Technically, Cool Tune is also an option. Although I think, like, Cool Tune, I think the other 4 decks are overall better than Cool Tune, but I might still prepare a Cool Tune deck list just for the periods where, like, because I think if you just play one of those decks, like, if you play Striker, Branded, or Dracotail for 72 hours, it probably just fries your brain. Maybe it's good to have, like, another option just for when you're a little tired or something. How is the random droplet? The random droplet is just card number 40. I didn't really, I had 3 Albion or 3 Nadir Servant before. I just wanted to cut those down a little bit because I didn't like this card going second enough to play 3. And I do think Droplet is a good card in this deck. I think it should be in here in some capacity. So for now, I only have room for 1. But it is one of those cards that I would consider with, like, if I'm cutting the Bystials, if I'm cutting an Albion, you could play more Droplets. You could consider Radiant Typhoon Vision to make the deck a little more consistent. I like that too. But yeah. With all those Elf Notes, FTKs, and others, Striker doesn't seem that good. Striker, I would love to play Striker for the WCQ, but I don't think it's going to be my choice because I think it's too weak into some FTK decks, and I also think it's too weak into Branded. I think Branded is just a very hard matchup for Sky Striker, especially if played well, and you're going to sit there fighting for 40 minutes, and if your opponent is good, you're going to have a really hard time, and then you've wasted a lot of time trying to grind against a good Branded player, and they still beat you, and I think that's difficult position. I think I would maybe consider picking up Striker if I just end up playing against like only cool tunes. Then I might just pick up Striker. So yeah. How's the Lunalight matchup with Branded? I think pretty solid. You can out Ligers with Titanic Lad over time. You just need to survive. It would be better if you had an opening in the deck though. Probably. What about Magnet? Okay, guys. Following thing, we're going to do a tier list tomorrow anyways for Master Duel. We're going to have an in-depth talk about the Master Duel format tomorrow. So I'll save all of that for tomorrow because I do need to go now. Yeah, I do need to get going because I need to be somewhere in like 30 minutes. So I appreciate you all for hanging out today. It's been a fun stream. We're going to do more tomorrow and on Thursday, depending on how much time I have. We're basically doing nothing but grinding rated duels with different decks in preparation for the WCQ, as long as I have time, pretty much. I'm going to play as much as I can. So I'll see you all tomorrow. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're doing even more Master Duel WCQ prep tomorrow and on Thursday. So I'll see you then. Thank you for everyone who followed and subscribed today. I really appreciate you all. I'll find someone to raid real quick, and then I will see you all hopefully tomorrow. I'll send you over to Mr. MBT, and you guys have fun over there. You have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you all tomorrow, everybody. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.